I have talked so much about living in US, coming back to India, what made me go with that decision and how it has been and I've received so much love and support from you guys on those videos. Here's another video from my personal angle, and there are 4 things I regret doing in US or not doing in US, and today I'm going to talk about those 4 things. So if you're studying in US or you've started working in there, if you're contemplating about whether it is for you or not, what to do in long term, maybe you can learn from some of the mistakes I made or some of the regrets that I'm sharing. So I hope this benefits people in a better decision making and improving your life and some of the career decisions that you're going to make. So yes, this is again sort of a personal video, and I hope you will find some wisdom or ability to take better decisions from my experience. Let's get started. Firstly, a very, very happy new year to you all. May 2024 bring you immense success, love and happiness. Let's get back to our video now. But before that, if you have been finding our channel useful and the videos helpful in your applications or career aspirations, then please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. Okay, so today I'm talking about 4 decisions I regret making when I was in US, or 4 mistakes I think I have made, and hoping that you can take some lessons from it. So the first mistake I want to talk about is not taking the 401k option. Now, what is a 401k? It's basically an employer-sponsored retirement savings plan. You can think of it as something like EPF or Employee Provident Fund in India. You can basically invest part of your salary pre-tax into this fund, and best part is that many employers in US also match a portion of their employees' contribution. So let's say your salary is $100,000 and you decide to put 10k into your 401k, and your employer has a 3% matching rule, which means that they will match your contribution up to 3% of your salary. So this means that your employer in this case is going to put $3,000 in your 401k too. This is basically free money. Of course, the percentage and limitations are going to vary from company to company, but the bottom line is that you're saving tax and getting free money from your employer. Whatever you accumulate in your 401k can be withdrawn when you turn 59 and a half years of age. Don't ask me why that number, why not 60, I don't know, but that's the rule. So this is like your retirement savings or a provident fund. Now here's my story. I never intended to settle down in US. So I didn't want to bother about having a retirement account and worrying about it later from when I've moved back to India, right? So there are certain rules, like if you withdraw prematurely from your 401k account, you have to pay some penalty. I think it's around 10% or something, but please check the latest number. I just didn't think it was worth the hassle, but I was foolish. I was paying much higher tax on my paychecks. Even if I had to prematurely withdraw from my 401k account, I would be paying much lesser penalty on it instead of the massive tax that I was paying. And not to forget getting free matching money from my employer Citigroup. By the way, you don't have to withdraw from your 401k account if you're moving back to India. You can move back to India and still wait till retirement, but I don't want to give legal advice here. So do consult a lawyer about how to go about availing your 401k option if you have left US and moved back to India. Now this is an example of how I did not do my financial planning very well back when I was in US, and this was a big mistake. I lost real compounding opportunity, and I don't want you guys to make the same mistake. Since then, I've learned a great deal of personal finance and have managed my money much better after coming to India. Please educate yourself on money management and let your money earn you interest and dividends. Don't let it sit idly in your savings account. So, and of course, find out about 401k and other investment options so that your money can make more money for you. Second mistake I want to talk about is missing the tech wave. As I was graduating from UIUC, I had multiple full-time offers from Citigroup, Lehman Brothers, Morgan Stanley, Citadel, Microsoft, Cisco, and few other smaller companies. It was 2007 and Facebook had just started. Wall Street was considered glamorous back then. Now I ended up choosing Citigroup or Citi because they were offering the highest package and New York City sounded really lucrative. But looking back, Citadel would have boosted my career much better because it is a top hedge fund even today, and I was offered a position in their famous 2-year training rotation program. I could have gotten so much exposure and mentorship in that program, but it was in Chicago and I was really not excited about staying in Chicago. Also, Microsoft under the leadership of Steve Ballmer was not at all famous like it is today. So even though I had an offer from Microsoft, I did not take it seriously. So I let go of these great offers and chose Citigroup instead. In hindsight, I wish I had joined Microsoft and rode the tech wave, which we see how massive it is today, right? Now it is hard to predict what will happen tomorrow. But my lesson is that you should really pay attention to what's happening in the world and observe the macroeconomic factors and wisely choose your industry. Choose something that is going to grow with time, not something which might become obsolete. And my bonus advice here, don't go by the salary alone. Your starting salary really doesn't matter as much as the industry and company where you're going to work. Third mistake I want to talk about is not dating and exploring more or settling too soon. So let's talk about some personal advice here. I strongly believe that choosing your life partner is the most underrated decision. People don't talk enough about this. People instead focus on salaries, bonuses, promotions, etc. But your life partner has the biggest influence on your success and happiness. No one else even comes close. As it happened, I was in a relationship when I moved to US, but I had never reflected on whether that relationship was right for me, whether we were truly compatible or not. I was so focused on career and studies that I ignored what really matters in a relationship, and I did not meet other people. I really did not think about long term in my relationship planning. Now, I'm not saying that you should keep dating unnecessarily, but I just feel that you need to choose your life partner very carefully. And if you're not sure about someone, take your time and figure out whether you're compatible or not. Do not settle for someone you're not sure of, and it's better to wait rather than going half-heartedly with the option in your hand. My relationship was not the right one and it took me many years to fix it. I hope you don't make the same mistake. The fourth mistake is not planning my career actively. It's ironical that I am now a career coach and I advise people on being intentional about their career choices. But back in my day, I was not really thinking more than 4 to 5 years down the line. What did I want to be in the long term? What role would help me get there? I so regret not asking these questions myself. I considered many careers back then. At one time, I was even thinking about doing a PhD. I just went with software development role because I had graduated from computer science, but a friend of mine went into investment banking too. I could have opened a variety of careers for myself, but I was just happy to find any kind of job. I ultimately figured that I'm a creative person who values freedom over salary. I should have gone for more strategy-oriented roles at startups to prepare for an entrepreneurial career instead of taking up a software role on Wall Street. That role did not really make me too happy. I got bored pretty soon and there was not much left to learn. And then, of course, I found my way into MBA, explored working with a couple of startups, and then eventually came back to India. Then again tried my hand at several things back here in India before finding my feet. So yes, I spent a long time figuring out what I really want to do in life. But I think with the kind of resources available at your disposal on internet today, I think you can be more intentional and careful or wise about making your career choices. This can help you save at least some years in between. Now, those were the bigger decisions I regret making, but let me also talk about a couple other points that I think I could have done differently when I was in US. And here I want to talk about not ever living in Manhattan or New York City. I so wish I had lived in Manhattan instead of Jersey City. But of course, like a lot of Indians choose to live in New Jersey side just to save some extra money. But if you can, I highly recommend trying to live there at least for a short period of time, because once you have a bigger family and more responsibilities, you cannot live in New York. It's really expensive. The apartments are really small and it will just not serve your purpose. So yes, I wish I had lived in big cities or downtown areas at least for a year in my life. So yes, make the most of this time. when you're freshly graduated or in your 20s, when you're young and single, because you only live once and your 20s are the time to live fully. Other thing I would like to talk about is not forcing my parents to visit me. So my dad was in government service back then and he could never find long enough time to visit me. I do regret it because I would have loved to show him around. He's a great admirer of history, libraries, museums, and would have truly enjoyed New York City so much. But somehow it never materialized when I was there. The only silver lining is that my cousin is now in Princeton and my parents finally made that long due trip to US this year and they had an absolute blast. So at least I don't have that regret anymore. Another small thing I would say is another regret is not traveling to Europe and South America when I was in US, because it's so easy to do that when you're there instead of trying to plan it from back in India. I don't think I'm ever going to Machu Picchu from India. It's really cumbersome to plan and maybe even expensive. It would have been so much more convenient when I was in US. And yes, I think I should have explored Europe also back then, because with a US visa or just hopping into few countries on my way to India would have been much more convenient rather than planning a Europe vacation now from India. And lastly, I would say another thing I regret is not filing for my green card. Not that I wanted to stay in US permanently, and that is the reason I never thought about green card, but it's good to have options, and I should have tried to get my green card even if I didn't want to use it. So those are some of my thoughts on my time in the US. Some things I think I should have done differently, and I hope you do. So what do you think about these? Let me know in the comments, and if you have any other feedback on our recent videos or any other advice for us or suggestion for a new video, please leave them in the comment box below. I would love to create something for you guys. Alright, so that's it from my side. Again, wish you a very, very happy 2024, and I'll see you next week with a fresh new video. Take care. Bye-bye.